BWV. This is kind of a continuation play, but also had some news today. You could say a few days ago we had a big kind of gap up change in trend with a fade, and then kind of an uptrend on the back side of that. Today we had a little bit of news, but it wasn't any huge catalyst. You can see yesterday we had a spike up, retracement down. So here we had some news, pretty volatile on the open. Move this, kind of with a move from like 520, up to that 615, 610 range, with a big flush down, just really almost trading between 610 and 550. Pretty volatile. Comes back for the second, or really the third test of the 610, 612 level. Breakthrough. I can see a big consolidation up here around the 650 range. That, kind of was almost a level, I would say, from yesterday. It was roughly the high of yesterday, but probably more so a psychological level. The big next level really would have been like $7, as we can kind of see from that gap day a few days ago, or rather that up day, the high was 712. So maybe a break of that you'd see a bigger squeeze, or just kind of a bigger move, people getting more aggressive. But we break out of this 610, consolidate 650. As you can see, as time goes on, volume does pretty much decrease, and we do have these kind of exception, big off candles. But RSI, you can see, is decreasing. Overall from the open to this point, you see RSI is decreasing. All prices increasing. Tends to mean a retracement or flush is coming. Flush comes. Probably really it's a break of like 645. Maybe people risking off of, or even this, kind of a pivot point in 638. Flushes, breaks that, and then it's really just sideways trading. We have a volatile spike, little early afternoon, but really more so just kind of trading between that 580 and 615-ish level. Volume dies out of it. As far as where it goes next, had a stronger close today than it did yesterday. Closer to VWAP, a little bit more volume. Maybe if it can kind of hold this 580 and more so even hold 6, maybe you see a slow grind for a test of that 650 break, and then leading up to 7. Without another catalyst, it's going to be tough. I think really the 650 level is kind of the new kind of squeeze level, if you will, to watch. On the flip side, if this thing can hold the 580, probably going to see a retracement back down. It didn't really hold any other support all the way to 5, so you might see a move like that again. Overall, definitely one to watch. If it's around the 610 level, one to watch, but then based off the 6.5 and 580 levels. Let's take a look at CYN. This is another kind of continuation play we saw yesterday. This was kind of almost a similar setup with the BWV. It was almost a similar setup to this. Hit a pretty big uptrend, or rather a pretty big uptrend a few weeks ago. Then kind of a pullback to the SMA. Then kind of a bounce back up. And we saw a high of 578 in the after hours yesterday. Pretty much had a breakout of that 510 level. That's what kind of spoke about yesterday. We just happened to see it more so in extended hours versus regular trading hours. After that breakout, it's fairly weak. Not as much volume. There's not really any catalyst, so it's all kind of technical, and if things have other people's attention, you're just not going to get the buying support you need. So a bit of a slow fade, trade interview up pre-market, and then try and consolidate and hold this 480 level, which was pretty good support yesterday. Just can't. And it kind of just stair steps down on different levels to ultimately kind of consolidate between this 3.6 and this 390 level. Just definitely, I would say, kind of established now as a weaker stock, or I should just say that the momentum's not there much anymore. Yesterday was a big technical play, and so without any direct catalyst holding it up, you're going to see a big retracement like this. So I mean, really even tomorrow, I mean, it's probably going to just find consolidation between 315 and maybe 390. It's kind of had a bit of consolidation there in the past few days, so I'm guessing that's what it's going to do. It's just kind of a normal ATR move, just in that range. I mean, volume was pretty light today, and also just kind of faded out in the afternoon. So it seems to be all the momentum has finally kind of left this stock for now. Let's take a look at VERU. This was on the watch list this morning. It was gapping up in the pre-market on some news, although I don't know how I don't know say how valid the news was, but how big of a catalyst the news actually was. Something about like a plan to use some sort of FDA fast track or something to that extent. So I mean, it really was just a plan to do something. And sometimes that leads to new prices, sometimes it doesn't, and here you kind of see it does not. We have a spike pre-market hitting that 1068 resistance, and then just kind of a retracement from that. Almost had a bit of a support here at that $10 range, flushes through that. Pre-market trades in the pre-market, or trades at a view up just before the open. Volume relatively decreasing in the pre-market. So, you might have gotten some shorts to cover here based off of just a recent trend, recent downtrends of this price and newer short positions. But overall, the news is maybe not necessarily justifying the move as the market decides, and so then you see the sell-off and the flush down. Consolidates at that 870 just for a little bit, but ultimately just comes back to really what was yesterday's level. Yesterday, and then 2 days fast around that 820, between 820 and 810. It was just a kind of a sideways then rest of the day. I think this one's just going to kind of continue on that sideways momentum, or not even momentum, just sideways movement, regular ATR trades without a catalyst. I mean, it has the potential. I mean, I think you also see a little bit of, if you look at the daily, it does have recent big candles on the upside. I mean, a few weeks ago we saw low of it might have been the open was 599, hit a high of 1457. So it's definitely volatile, and people are going to kind of look to that to try and capitalize that on that again. You probably saw some people get in pre-market thinking that's what was going to happen. So combination of that and combination of short coverings, you get a bigger spike. Then has the weakness, not the follow through. You just see the flush on the open as people get stopped out probably right around that 940 level. So I mean, probably gonna just trade sideways, I would say, for tomorrow without a direct catalyst.